Hello. Ugh. Okay, welcome. There's a few here already. Yeah, I didn't like. You know what? I've noticed something. This is more about the channel and my streaming. Um, I like I noticed one thing on the server too. A lot of schizoids, they tend to like change their username a lot. Like I've noticed, like there's a good chunk of schizoids that'll just be like, they'll just change their username constantly, like every couple of months or something. And I was like, I never really did that with usernames too much. I used to, I think, when I was younger. But now, like, I'm doing it for like whatever it is I'm attempting on different days, or the names of like whatever the program or the stream is supposed to be. And you know, normally it's was it I had Empty Head Thursdays, and then I was doing video games and I didn't like that, and then so I stopped doing Thursdays because I didn't know what I was doing with it, right? So I just got rid of it, but I might bring it back, I don't know. And then Tuesdays were just kind of like topical whatever bullshit. I'm muted? Hello? No, I'm not muted. It says I'm audible. You guys can't hear me? Do you have me muted, Khalil? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not muted. Unless, for whatever reason, my OBS is lying to me. So that would suck. I'd be wasting my breath. Can anyone else confirm if they can hear me or not? Okay, I'm clear. Okay, sweet. Don't gaslight me, Khalil. Cool. Thank you. All right, so now it's called Schizoid Takes Tuesday, and I kind of like it. Somebody, a guy who's diagnosed schizoid, but able and overcome certain aspects of it. But I'm always gonna like all the lessons that I learned, right, growing up, and all the things that befell me that I've discussed plenty of times that kind of led up to me developing this personality disorder. Even if I overcome various aspects of the negative symptoms and say I'm refinding my sense of self, I'm starting to reconnect with a lot of emotions, blah blah blah, right? All that lame stuff. But I'm still, like, all the lessons, all the negativity, all the the cynicism and the pessimism and the skepticism, all that shit is gonna be with me for the rest of my breathing years. Right? Like, it's gonna be with me. It's never gonna go away. I have better control over the salience of such thoughts, but I have the capacity for that level of analysis and critique of situations and things, right? Cool, right? So yeah, I think I'm suitable to give a take. My take, it's just my take, but it's kind of coming from a place that is partially shaped by the many things that lead up to this PD. Okay? So just wanted to say that's why I'm calling it Schizoid Take. It's not your take. I'm not speaking for all schizoids, but it's this schizoid's take on shit. So I'm going to be doing that on Tuesdays. I think that's much better instead of random fucking topics. Maybe I'll just, those are the schizoid strengths of the Ubermensch. Yeah, right. I figure, oh, wait, maybe I could just do, like, stuff that's actually fucking happening in the world and talk about what's in my fucking head about that stuff. And it might be some takes that are, I don't know, not as common, maybe? I have no idea. I just know that I usually, like, watch all kinds of media, whether it's, like, big or small, and I'm always just, like, baffled by some of the shit that gets said by not just individuals on the internet, but also, like, entire, like, you know, 1 million sub, like, channels and stuff on, like, on their take of, like, some big event or something that happened. And oftentimes they're just so goddamn narrow, and it drives me kind of crazy. There's just, like, you know, the lack of metacognition, the lack of cognitive empathy sometimes. It just gets hijacked by all this effective empathy, and then which could lead to more harm and misinformation and all this kind of shit, and it pisses me off, right? So Anyway, what I was going to talk about today are my thoughts regarding, which I'm sure everyone's following and everyone is talking about it or whatever, but the assassination of that Brian fellow, that CEO of United. Um, it's just weird because over the years I've seen like documentaries regarding corruption and issues with the healthcare system. I've seen left wing documentaries and right wing kind of is and centrist views and regarding the healthcare system and health insurance and shit like that. Um, I mean, even okay. At one point, I had a job. I think well, that was like 2.5 years ago or something. For a while, I had a job where I was actually calling for what do you call it? Calling on behalf of the of patients that needed like mental health care type stuff, right? So I had to like sit on the phone and like listen to all these like goddamn machines and navigate all this bullshit just to get a live human being on the fucking phone. And then I was essentially like speaking on their behalf to get certain types of information, right? That they needed, that the providers needed, right? In order to be able to provide them the services they require, the mental health services they require. And my job was to basically facilitate the patient's ability to get the shit they need. Um, and my God, how it was so difficult to deal with the goddamn machines. They would fail. Um, I'd be on hold for 45 minutes to an hour and a half. The calls would drop, or the receptionist or the agent on their end would I don't know, drop, like just hang up. I would ask too many questions because I needed specific details, and sometimes they would just like pretend they couldn't hear me and hang up. All kinds of shit. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I'm calling on behalf of people that were looking for mental health related things. Everything from like, neurodivergent people needing certain types of things. Different kinds of because depending on the services that I was like asking about in the codes that I was using, they represented different like types of things, right? And so yeah, these were people that like needed help with all kinds of different stuff. Some of it like was more severe than others. Others were weird. There was like stuff that I'm not a big fan of. Like there was people looking for like ABA stuff, and I'm not, as you well know, I'm not really a big fan of ABA therapy. And then there was people that were trying to get fucking essentially what's the equivalent of a electric lobotomy. I can't. It's oh god. It's where they shock essentially some of the regions of the brain that they used to lobotomize in order to supposedly like make people better. It's like cranial magnetic. Yeah, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. So anyway, like when I was doing that work, I was like, my God, imagine being like really disabled or mentally ill, or like you're going through like the worst depression of your life that year, and you reach out. Let's say you reach out to a mental health provider. Maybe it's the first time you've reached out. Maybe you don't know, you've already had bad experiences, and then like they're just like, oh well, we got to talk to your insurance and see what's up and what is covered and what isn't, and blah blah blah, and what your this and this and that are going to be, right? And that your shit gets delayed just because my ass can't get somebody on the motherfucking line. Like, yeah, like I've had it where like people were like, oh, we got somebody that we want to see on this Thursday or this Friday, but we need this info. And like, if for some reason it's like a smaller subsidiary of like some bigger umbrella company kind of like United and all that, then like, you know, their shit service or their shit tech basically impacts that, and then that person, like, they're like, oh, we need this info by tomorrow, so it could have it. It's sometimes like it couldn't be done. So like, and then we'd have to like escalate the issue, and it's like, okay, this person needed this fucking session like 2 days ago or longer, right? Anyway, so I got a little taste of that working in that sort of stuff. Plus all the great stuff over the years that's been coming out. And right now, what I'm having a good time seeing is people currently focused on something that's of value when it within the political realm. Like, they're actually focused on something important, which is how absolutely fucked health insurance is. I am so happy that that's the conversation. And yeah, I could honestly, I could give two shits about Brian. Like, I don't care about that guy at all. I don't give a shit. I watched a video where it was a guy. He was like interviewing people on the street near the area where the crime had occurred, and there was a lady crying there. And then the interviewer went up to her, and the lady, like, they asked, "Oh, are you related to the CEO?" And she said, "No, I work for United. I love," like, basically saying, like, this company's been really good to me, and this is so sad, and all this stuff. And they were laying flowers down, and I'm like, man, it sounded like somebody like crying over a cult leader dying. It was crazy. But I've seen that kind of shit. Really weird stuff. And of course, you got everyone posting online about how, like, every joke imaginable, every piece of humor imaginable, every pun imaginable regarding healthcare denial and insurance companies and blah blah blah, and associating it to, like, in some punny way to this guy getting shot. Most of it's funny, but it's still like, let's have a more serious conversation. But I do like that, like, the thinking, even on something as stupid as TikTok, is going in that direction. Don, I bet their portfolio managers put them on hold. They take it seriously. Primary business model is delay and deny. Maybe they'll give up or die. Yeah, no, they bank on that. That's what's so crazy, because that's what I mean. Like, if your mental health's fucked, right, and you're like on the brink, man, you're on the brink. You need that medication. You need that fucking that whatever therapy you require. You need those conversations that could possibly save your fucking life. Like, a few days, weeks, that shit is, like, deadly. It's crazy. And it's not even, like, for some of you that maybe aren't into this kind of stuff or don't know, it's not even the people that need the services that are getting fucked. It's also the providers themselves are getting fucked, because they're not getting the money they require. Sometimes, even when shit is approved, they don't always get the payments they need for the shit they're doing, because they'll try to fight them on that ground as well. I was forced to switch to UHC. They're awful. I can't even get the meds I've been on since I was 18. Fucking travesty. Blank planet. But my point is, it's fucking over the doctors, right? So they're not getting paid. The nurses, other people are you know, especially small practices, they're getting fucked, right? There's, like, lawsuits back and forth between, like, you know, insurance companies like United and, like, all kinds of, like, providers, because they're not paying them what they agreed to or on time or any of that kind of shit. So then that's gonna fuck with the quality of service. That's gonna, like, imagine, do you want your doctor Do you want your surgeon? Do you want the people, in the hospital, like, worried about, the money? Like, do you want them stressed out about, like, getting the money they need for their small practice or whatever? Is that how you like people that like have their lives in your hands to feel? Do you want them stressed out, angry, depressed, resentful, or would you rather them be pretty even keeled? When they're diagnosing you with shit and dealing with you. I don't know. I think that's a pretty important group to keep, mentally stable and okay, feeling all right, not too stressed out, or the people that are cutting you open and shit like that, or diagnosing stuff correctly, or not looking into things, or not noticing things because they're too stressed out. I don't want that. I don't want providers to be stressed out. That's ass, right? But beyond that, that aspect too, it's a topic that doesn't even get covered by almost any news outlet. I mean, it'll briefly be covered, and it's only if something's scandalous or sensational, right? Only if it somehow gets enough voices behind it. And then the politicians, and I'm American, so I'm speaking as an American, American politics. The politicians don't like to talk about these subjects. They try to mention it sometimes, not really, because they're all fucking, there's so many lobbies. Like, there's so much fucking money getting poured, and they don't even pour it into a specific party. They just give everybody money. Places like United are just throwing money at politicians, so they don't talk about it. So they don't fucking have these conversations. Let's just talk about immigration all day, like. And so it's all bought out, man. Like, it's crazy. I have like I have like three people that I know that are Canadian, and their shit's fucked in its own way too. Their public health care is all fucked. So you got people here constantly talking, this is why we need public health care. It's like, yeah, but are we gonna run it like Canada's? Meritocracy, last man standing, to each according to his greed, from each according to his gullibility. But yeah, these guys are pocketing so much fucking money on denials. It's crazy. Like, your doctor says, yo, this guy needs this. Like, this guy needs this. My professional opinion is that this guy needs this. And you got insurance companies going, you don't need that shit. You're lying. You're just trying to get money out of us, provider. It's crazy, too, because the fucking insurance companies, like, they get payouts from shit like Medicare. They get payouts based on the types of diagnoses that are, like, come up. Oh, you got a bunch of fucking, the people with a certain type of thyroid issue that's like an epidemic right now. Oh, you're gonna get more money. And so they're all about that diagnosis, right? Fuck, dude. But oh, you got this weird condition that no one else really has, or very few people have, and you need this experimental stuff. It's called experimental because there's not that much research on it, because not too many people have this condition, but it could fucking save your life, possibly. No, we don't. There's not enough research on that. We can't justify putting the money for that. Remember when people freaked out about death panels? Bro, dude, when people freaked out about death panels, I was laughing. Because I was like, there's already death panels. What the fuck are you talking about? We already have death panels. It's just so funny, man. There's already death panels. I'm watching videos of, like, people, like, over the years, because my algo's so, like, fucked on purpose, because I basically subscribe to whatever weird small channels I find. And sometimes I'll get, like, weird channels like, somebody's video pops up because like they're talking about how they're dying or they're dead, and so I'll watch it and I'll sub to it, and it'll have like the video might have like 1 million views, but like they actually only have like 1,000 subs or something. This person that like nobody looked at until they put out the video about how they're fucking dying. How many times, like, dude, I've watched some of those, and there's, trust me, they pop up more than you'd believe. And some of them have to do with that kind of shit. They're like, oh, like I have this, and they say that like this other thing's too much of a long shot, so I'm pretty much done for. Like they're not gonna let me try it. I'm like, dude, I saw the other day. I saw one with like a 19-year-old guy, fucking dying. And like not being able to afford shit is like one of the most to be alive when we have the tech is one of the most disgusting fucking things about the civilization I inhabit. That's insane to me. You have the tech? Oh, why? Oh no, but it's so expensive. Why is it so expensive? Is it because like what? Do you need you need bars of gold to do this? No, it's because, it's usually because there's various levels of corruption and bureaucracy and bullshit between that make it fucking artificially explode in price. So crazy. Dude, I've seen the argument online of people saying, oh, well, those CEOs are making like 100 million, 200 million a year or more or whatever. Well, that's because they're, that's not an easy job. I know it's not an easy job. Being a CEO is not an easy job. It's not. For a small company or a big company, it's not an easy job. But it's definitely not a job that should be making that much goddamn money. That's fucking crazy. And if that money is coming from places, or if they're being rewarded for doing, like, making awful decisions, unethical decisions, are what they were rewarded for, that's crazy. Like, oh, can you be as unethical as possible for the sake of, our bottom line? Yes. Oh, you're going to make it great in this company. Yeah, they work 1,000 times harder than everyone. Dude, it's not even 1,000 times. It's way more than that. It's not even 1,000 times. The guy who got backflipped essentially. He was fucking making, what was it? The equivalent of like of minimum wage every minute. Like in California, like the minimum wage in California, like every minute. Man, this guy is not doing anything but making money. Being blissfully ignorant of reality, it might affect me as a criteria of neurotypical inflationary disorder. Oh my god. It's just like the stuff they're doing it for, the needs that they have. Dude, I watched another video. It had the head that one of the head CEOs of United was a fucking, what was his name? Oh Jesus, he was doing like he was talking about how like their mission statement and stuff. It's the most corpo fucking bullshit you could ever hear. Even the language that was used, it was about like, oh, we are one of the most important, companies on earth because we're intimately involved with the healthcare of millions of Americans or millions of people. It's like, I love how they pick those words, intimately involved. Like, you know what else is can be considered intimately involved? Like somebody like going up to you and choking you to death. That's pretty intimate. Like strangling you to death and looking you right in the eyes, and they're like 3 inches away from your face as they see You die, that's intimate. That's pretty intimate. That's an intimate thing. That's an intimate relationship. Man. Like, and they always use this language. They always use language. It's really vague and nebulous when they're describing things. We're having a large impact. We've been a part of, like a significant changes and instead of saying like good things or like no, significant changes in healthcare have always been our concern. It's like shit like that. Crazy. And then they try to like I've seen, I think in the same one, but or in another one, they try to paint the providers like the reason everything's so expensive. They're like, oh well, we want to make sure that providers aren't overdiagnosing and exploiting the patient. They literally do that. They literally like will put fake shit. Like they'll want more diagnoses or put fake shit in there so that they get a bigger payout from shit like Medicare. Crazy. Protecting you. Crazy, man. I don't know how to deal with this shit. And yeah, I've been following the guy too. Luigi. Luigi Agioni. I'm bad with names. But the assassin or whatever. Yeah, I've been looking into like his whatever they got on him and what they're talking about. It's funny because like I was looking at some of like I guess like because if you look at most like big media things, they're just like this guy was a fan of the Unabomber. Oh, this guy had he had on his wish list of for reading a copy of Mein Kampf. It's like, yeah, and he also had like on his wish list a reading of like something about like back pain and injury because he suffered from like horrible back pain because his like fucking vertebrae is all fucked, and because of that shit, like they had to fucking infuse metal steel shit in his like the bottom of his fucking spine because he was like super. You've seen the pictures; he's all like ripped. He looks like healthy and everything. Yeah, and he came from a privileged family apparently, but the guy was like in agony, right? Like, and and so anyway, so he had his own either a petty narcissist or badly written fall guy. Who? Well, no. Let me explain. He was interesting. I started looking at his like people started digging into his stuff, right? And like I started seeing like his posts on Twitter from like different periods of his life. I mean, I haven't looked at them all, but some of them weren't even like they were pretty reasonable takes on shit. Like they were like takes that I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually not that crazy. Like that's like it's probably the type of takes that you would have heard from some like I don't know, not I wouldn't say a Bernie bro or something, but like they were like reasonable, like hey, corporatism sucks because of these reasons. The emphasis of certain types of things is like there was one take that I was like, yeah, I'm about that, which was regulating pornography. I was like, yeah, porn should be regulated. That shit's unhealthy as fuck, and we've seen the consequences of it. So, yeah, it should be if you're gonna regulate fucking cigarettes and alcohol, and yeah, you should probably like this is probably doing more damage to young people than like cigarettes. Like everyone's worried about vaping. We gotta come down on the vapes. The only thing keeping like a 13-year-old from looking at the most vile shit on the internet is a disclaimer in the front of the screen say, hey, are you 18? Yeah, all right, here you go. Here's some fucking ball torture and like rape fantasy fucking videos. Like, what the fuck, man? Glows quite a bit. Yeah, it might glow, but I don't know, man. Like this is not. If this is a if he was a Fed, there's no evidence of it. Like everything about the dude, like he had a like a significant internet life, so you can actually see a bunch of his stuff apparently. And I was checking out some of it, and I was like, okay, like I was expecting like some fucking, I don't know, accelerationist or something, and he was like, you didn't really see a lot of signs of like him being like some kind of, but we'll see. I don't know, more stuff will come out. um I don't know if you saw when they took him away, like there was video of when they took him away, they were taking him into court, and he just yelled something along the lines of like, this is an insult to the intelligence of the American people. And they accused palm readers of vagueness and preying on the vulnerable. These people sure have some sack. It's wild, man. Like, and so I I think it's kind of like a pussy take to be like, oh, hey guys, like it should never come to this and stuff, and like what happened to this Brian CEO. And in my head, I just go, well, it was inevitably it was going to come to this. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Diplomacy doesn't work, right? That doesn't work. Inaction doesn't work. Reasonable, rational arguments don't work. Legislation doesn't work because they're already bought out. And all of this is like fueled by just human greed, human pettiness for the stupidest of things, like social need for power and status. It's like disgusting, man. Like stuff that already makes me go like, ugh, right? And as a schizoid, it's even more so. I'm just like, yo, like keep your power, keep your status, keep your like your attention. Like these violent delights have violent ends. Yeah, absolutely. And so like you want to like keep all that shit. I don't want that shit. I don't even want like normie levels of that shit most of the time. Like there's people that I feel really good about, like, oh, like when I see my channel grow and stuff like that, I don't think yeah, yeah, legislation works perfectly as designed. Lame to quote a show, but it came to my mind. Yeah, it's not bad. Um but like I don't care. Like when I see my number go up for subs or views or any of that, like let's just say, and it's never gonna happen, but let's just say like a video I put out or like a stream I do, for some reason, like, oh my god, it just blew up my channel. Oh, I don't give a shit about that stuff. The only thing I'll care about is like, oh wow, there's more people I can talk to about schizoid shit, and the plight of the neurodivergent person, and the absolute horror that they have to go through in this world that sometimes leads to this awesome personality disorder. So, yeah, that's all I'll think. That's all that's going to go through my head. I I could have the 3K subs that I have now. I could have 10K, I could 100K. Give me a fucking million. I don't give a shit about how many people are looking at me. It doesn't make me feel good. If anything, it makes me feel bad because it's pathetic that this hasn't already happened. These conversations aren't being had. And it's, what's so crazy is like, even some of the big streamers, even they're like, they're so scared to like, they're having a take, and they're keeping it kind of like, ooh, yeah, because they know that all the stuff that's going to be taken, stripped from them if they say the wrong words or do the wrong things. Damn. Changes are not going to happen just because, fucking Charlie or whoever says some like quips and jokes and goes, "This is so wrong." Like do something about it. You have the platform. Oh, the troubled teen industry. Please, I don't. We want to talk about ABA too? No, no, no. I'm not. Don't make me go down other places. Um, I mean, there's a suicide hotline industry if you think about it. But yeah, yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? It's just is like I can't. There's one thing that Zoids can do sometimes that I'm not one of those Zoids that can do it. It's probably because I'm more on the schizo spectrum side of things. Is the whole like, oh, I just don't. I'm not gonna look at news. I'm not gonna look at politics. I don't even care. I'm just gonna like just going full gorilla and hedonic and apathetic. Like that's fine. I understand why you would, right? I don't be me. Don't be me. I this is terrible. The only thing that keeps me alive is a sense of humor, which I developed because of trauma. Isn't that nice? A sense of humor is often a adaptation to trauma. Funny how so many funny haha guys end up making poor decisions regarding their lives. And I try not to be like, and I know the meme, but I try not to be the nothing ever changes fucking chud type thing. But like, if you're talking via like the regular means, democracy, yeah, but I don't want. I can accept that I'm in hell and then try to get out. I can't. I can't just be like, well, I'm in hell. What are you gonna do? I'm just one person. Dude, all you gotta like. Oh, imagine if every person that believed the opposite. Oh, then now it's not just one person. It's like fucking a billion people. It's wild, man. I can't. And so now the conversation is being dictated or directed in like the most bullshit ways. I saw Bill Burr. He's a comedian that I actually like quite a bit. Some of his takes are kind of ass, but he's funny. Um, and I was glad that, and he's always been kind of an outspoken guy or whatever, but I was glad that he said something along the lines of like, yeah, fuck that guy. Who cares? Fuck that guy. Like people like to bring up the fact that are like, yeah, but he was the news has been doing this. He was a father and he was a son and he had a family. It's like, okay, we're not talking about an annoying celebrity or some celebrity that was full of themselves or kind of shitty as a person. That's not the kind of person we're talking about. We're talking about the kind of person that goes to sleep at night knowing full well that the reason they're in the position that they are is because millions of people are getting denied healthcare. Who's thinking about all those fucking families? Who's thinking about all the goddamn families of all those people that had to watch aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, sons, daughters die because like, oh well, this is we can't justify this treatment that the doctor recommends because it's not as tested as other things are. So yeah, I feel like the reason there's such little sympathy is I think at some level, even non-schizos can sense that. For a lot of like neurotypical people, because of the kind of social focus and the interpersonal focus, or non-Zoid people specifically, I would say, um, it's because they're angry because they associate it to that uncle, that aunt, that cousin, that family member, that friend, or the friend of a family member. Sorry, the friend of a family member, or the family member of a friend that lost their life due to something related to insurance. They're thinking about that. I don't think about it like that at all. But I'm glad if that's how they think about it. That's fine. I don't care. Sure, do that. And what's so crazy is that, like, what the reason I put the title of, like, corporate level deflection, it feels like oftentimes when these companies and these people are approached with these questions about, like, how do you justify this and things like that, they literally do, like, just fucking meta levels of deflection. The same way, like, one fucking piece of shit person might deflect and not take responsibility for their actions. They just do it on a corporate level. Personally, I believe in universal infinite suffering after death without a cause. Okay. I don't think it's universal infinite suffering. I think it's universal infinite whatever we make of it, whatever our fucking species consciousness, collective unconsciousness designs for itself. And that's terrifying considering how life is. It's crazy, man. Like, the fact that this stuff bothers me and, like, stresses me out and, like, and whatever, like, that makes me, I'm mentally ill. Oh, it's just you're caring too much about this. Focus on your life. That's mental illness. Being that person that's like, well, I have United, and I needed this thing, and they gave it to me. They've been pretty good to me. I mean, I've got no complaints. That's what that sounds like to me. Oh, I'm glad I don't have United. I got Kaiser. They don't deny as much. Those people, they should just move over to Kaiser. As if that's a fucking choice in some situations. As if that's that easy. Yeah, I told myself today, I am not getting depressed over this. I'm getting angry. And that's what I need to do again. I've become too, like, resigned to some of this stuff, and I stopped being as angry, and I started being a lot sadder. Sadness, it motivates me sometimes. Yeah, depression is motivating, oddly enough. In some people's cases, I'm one of them. But anger, and righteous indignation, it fuels me. But it's good. It's good to see people actually having these conversations. Actually, I like seeing CEOs be afraid. I like it. I like seeing shareholders be afraid. I like those kinds of people to be scared, to feel their own mortality. I like that. That's good. Because, many of us already constantly feel our own mortality. The people that are being denied services that their doctor suggests they get or be given, or medication for, pain, if you know about the chronic pain industry and that tragedy. And yeah, like, I have to, like, keep it salient angst, like, keep it salient. I gotta control that schizo part because it makes it feel really real. And since I've been getting more of my feelings and stuff back over the last couple of years, like, I have to, like, stay chill. Swear to God, man. I can see why some of this shit can get somebody kind of radicalized on certain topics. It's crazy. It's funny too with schizoids, like, they may be quiet people, they may be masking, but man, when you hear their actual thoughts on certain matters, a lot of it would be considered radical. The stuff that's considered radical half the time is it feels like propaganda succeeded at some point to convince people that reasonable ideas are radical. Like one of my favorite things right now are people that are still defending um like people that are advocates of, and I'm not gonna go like tanky, don't worry, but people that are advocates of capitalism, saying that what we currently have, like they're defending what we currently have as a defense to capitalism. This is not capitalist. Oh my god. This is where capitalism ends up without any control or any kind of like checks. And I mean that's it's crazy, man. Like, okay, here, I'm gonna give you a take. And I don't know another take on something. So this guy gets shot, this guy gets killed. There's gonna be a trial. That trial is gonna be sensationalized. The media is gonna paint him as a crazy person, psycho radical, but a lot of the public's gonna be like Robin Hooding him, right? And that's gonna lead, if they just throw the book at him, that's gonna lead to a lot. We might get another fucking what was it? Remember a few years, a lot of years back, Wall Street, the Walk on Wall Street. What's this? Wall Street? Oh my god, the fucking, you know what I'm talking about. Um, I can't remember what they called it. Stupid media, but you know, whenever all these people gathered on Wall Street, they're protesting, stayed there for days or whatever. Dude, this is likely to ignite something way crazier than that. Because now everyone out there that lost somebody or knows somebody that lost somebody, Occupy Wall Street, yeah, is pissed off about this. The more the media makes it sound like this guy's crazy and wrong, completely wrong, the more pissed off they're going to get at that media. You even got guys like that dipshit, Ben Shapiro, right? You got that guy, his own audience is like turning on him regarding this topic because he's still trying to make it a political thing, and he's trying to say that like, oh look, it's the left wing so violent, look at these left wing people that assassinate people or some shit like that. It's like, okay, bud. So they even his own audience is like, you know, even those guys are like, fuck this guy. And then you got like I've seen some of the more left wing channels and stuff, larger ones, trying to make the case for like, this isn't how we do it. This, you know, they're trying, like, they're condemning the action or whatever, and then their people are being like, fuck you, not this time. And it's. But anyway, here's the take. My concern is this: it's going to lead to more problems. You're going to have riots on the street, blah, 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 blah. Private companies and all the motherfuckers that run them are going to be more on edge, more scared. Right? They're going to up their security. They're going to do all kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, as news gets out that they're upping their security or they're cracking down on this or that, that's going to upset people more, right? And then eventually, this is where it could get crazy. Okay, this could be, and I'm not saying I'm not an alarmist. I'm just saying this is just a scenario that could possibly ignite the situation to exponential levels. You get a group of these radicals that like support this action or whatever, and they try to break into a like a facility or a company's building, right? There's going to be way more security grips for sure. Red flag laws. And they're going to try to break in to destroy property, right? They're going to be like, we're going to fucking, like, this is a theoretical. We're going to go to, you know, Apple's or fucking you know, we're Edison Electric, whatever fucking big companies with all kinds of stupid bullshit that they do, and scams and shady fucking moves, or insurance. Let's just say the insurance companies, right? We're gonna get in there, fucking destroy all their computers and fucking trash their shit, right? Like something like that, right? And some group of people decide, well, we're gonna do that, and then the moment some private security of a significant kind that, you know, was essentially hired because of these concerns mows down a bunch of people because of something of this nature. Like they're like, oh, you're trespassing, this is private property, stop what you're doing. And they're like, they have weapons, but they're using them to like destroy computers and whatever else. Yeah, some Fight Club type shit. And then they fucking open fire on these people. Oh my god. The shit show that's gonna cause. And it gets worse, right? Because guess who's gonna back the private security that killed, like, I don't know, these radical destroyers of property? The state, because what they did was illegal, and it was within the legal right of that company to have security that defended their property, regardless of all the bullshit. And so then, now you have a situation in which the state is siding with the corporations. What are you going to do then? What if the fighting keeps going? What if like people keep trying to do stuff, like, even if that happens, they keep trying to do crazy shit like that? Then what? Is it are you going to have like military like in front of like a corpo building protecting it? Things can get really dicey fairly quickly. If there's anything I know about history and human history, and wait, I have a degree, I can say this. I'm allowed to, right? Bullshit. Is things can escalate very fucking quickly. Very fucking quickly. And I grew up, most of us, all of us that grew up in the United States or in a lot of Western countries, we haven't seen, like, been in the middle of the true shit hits the fan. A lot of people that live in smaller countries have. Oh, yeah. All the fucking time. Things like the state shooting fucking civilians and stuff, that's just like a Tuesday. People don't understand how quickly stuff can escalate. Now, in the case of a country as big as the United States, it's going to take longer. It's going to be a slower process, but it could still happen. The smaller the country, the faster it escalates. The bigger the civilization, the slower it escalates, but ultimately it escalates. And at a rapid pace compared to like how other things change. The only way to avoid this, in my opinion, especially when you're talking about, like, let's just say insurance stuff, would be for the state to essentially obviously have to regulate certain fucking things, but also there has to essentially be a threat to the very platform that they hold their position on, like, of status. There has to be an existential threat to the very nature of the business. That's the only way people that are filled with this much greed will ever listen. Especially fast when money and agenda are pushed. Yeah. Anyway. I have plenty of rant in me. I always do. No, it's not funny, man. It's only funny. It's funny to me when I detach. If like if I just use humor, I just don't think about any of it, and I just think it's fucking like ha ha ha. Like that would have been me in my 20s or something. Like let it all burn. I probably would have been like a little accelerationist in my early 20s. This is just all so fucking pathetic and tragic. Just letting it sink in. It just makes me so fucking angry. But it feels the problem with being as angry as I internally get sometimes is that it feels impotent. It's like an impotent rage. It's like, oh, you have all this anger. What are you going to direct it toward? And that's where the depression comes in. So I hope this event creates an opportunity for something of value to occur. I doubt it will, but I certainly hope it does. And I hope enough people talk about it, regardless of how small or large your platform is. When has it ever been anything else? In small pockets, it's been, and in small ways, but it's never been in a way in which the totality of power is leaned toward that direction. No, that's never changed. But you know me, I'm gonna go down kicking and screaming. So doing haymakers and fucking windmill punching. Like it's all I can do. And do your part. Do your part if you want. Shit post about insurance. Talk shit. Put comments under videos of people trying to defend that crap. Shit post on them. Do those little things. To educate people on their unfamiliarity with the topic. If you have family members or people in your life that like, oh well, we can't or this can't be, like, tell them like, okay, this is why this shit happens. This is not the future I wanted for my kids, obviously, but I don't think they ever were going to get a future other than this one anyway. Sorry, I'm just kind of like, I think I'm tired now. Caused me more brain damage. No, yeah, but I don't mind it. No, but I have to control this aliens, like I said. I can't let this like dictate my life. Like I used to have that happen a lot more. Can't let it spiral and stuff, and that's what I've gotten a lot better at. But god damn, people need to get angry. People need to get angry. And then anger at the right targets. Anger at the right targets. Frustration and anger and angst at the correct targets. I was watching this other video essay thing that I found interesting that mentioned something I thought was kind of cool. It was talking about gang stalking, right? And where it comes from, how it started, how long it's been around, For those of you who don't know, just look it up. There's plenty of videos out there. Plenty of channels that are just like gang stalking channels. And one of the more interesting things that were brought up were that one of the earliest guys one of the earliest people, and I guess people that are into gang stalking, or what do they call themselves? Targeted individuals or whatever. They'll say that this guy was like the first recorded gang stalked person or targeted individual, and it's interesting because I guess it was a gentleman who was constantly paranoid, thinking, and we're talking, I think we were talking like, what, 18th century, 17th century, maybe before that, I can't remember, but I guess it's like one of the earliest documented works on the topic of psychological delusion, right? Somebody with delusion, like the positive symptoms essentially of delusion. And the person that was used like as an example was this gentleman who thought like that there were these machines that used magnetic signals. I forgot what he called it, and he had drawn it and he had described it. And I guess this doctor was basically just writing down all his and writing out all his delusions and paranoid thoughts, and like as like essentially a case study, right? And it's just really funny because like a lot of the stuff he was describing in, you know, in his in scientific language of his time, even the stuff he was describing was like considered like impossible to do. Like, so that's why it was a delusion. He was delusional because the stuff he was describing was impossible at the time. And it's kind of amusing to me that like some of that stuff is now possible. And I'm not just talking out of my ass, right? Like, there's literal patents out for this kind of tech. And it's the excuse for why it exists is was for warfare related reasons. Psych warfare, shit like that. I remember one time, you know, in my meanderings into history, one of the interesting things was reading about the manner in which psych warfare was used in Vietnam, with the like speakers that basically produce the sounds of like people wailing, like ghosts, talking about how they're gonna like to stop this war, give up, and stuff, in the voices of like supposed like dead ancestors or dead family members that have died because of it. And it was just a fucking psych warfare ploy. Wild, man. Like, once I saw it, like years ago when I heard about that, I was just like, yeah, they'll do anything. They'll do anything. Anyway, I said my piece. What always happens to me, I get really angry, and then I get really depressed, but then I get really angry again later. Then I have these episodes where I feel kind of despondent. Kind of feeling that right now. Usually defense contractor agree, yep. How to bypass gatekeepers and won't change as long as they're getting paid. Appeal to the average Joe on this level, yep. Yeah, it's a numbers game. But yeah, anyway, you know, stuff like directed energy weapons and shit like that. Like all that stuff's possible. It's been used, it's been tested, it's possible. Now, do I think these people are being individually targeted because of some grand conspiracy? Uh, that I have a difficulty buying any of that. Unfortunately, like, it doesn't help that some of these people already have like a history of mental illness, but some of them state they didn't until, you know, they became a targeted individual or whatever. And it's interesting because, like, there's been various projects within the CIA, and there aren't documented patents and all kinds of shit for stuff that literally was designed to cause temporary, like, psychosis or mental illness in people. The other day, this is totally off topic again because I don't know what else to talk about. I was looking into. Nah, I won't talk about that one. That one's too. Like, if there was more people that were just willing to suffer just a little bit more by thinking about these things and talking about these things, then there wouldn't be so many people like myself that get so mentally unwell over the subject matter. I hate that the only solution people provide for me regarding, like, thinking too much about this stuff that, like, makes me angry or depressed, that is to don't think about it so much, to resign yourself to its vicious reality. That is no solution, ladies and gentlemen. That is no solution. The void calls. Anyway, I'm going to be doing my part for mental health stuff. In whatever way I can. So. TTI. Why can't I remember what TTI is? Am I stupid? Yeah, I think I'm out. Like I said, I'm out of words. Sorry, guys. Anyway, if you like the stream, maybe I'll bitch and moan on Tuesdays more often. But if you like the stream, please support me on Patreon. I essentially use the money to pay for certain things associated with, you know, server stuff or channel stuff or research stuff. You know, sometimes like audiobook shit, whatever. And I also use it to pay for gas for the car and to kind of pad some of the financial holes in my life. Oh, troubled teen industry. Okay, thank you. Sorry. I don't think I've ever heard of it, like, referred to as TTI like that. Maybe I have. I don't know. But yeah. So PayPal or Patreon, all that shit. It's helpful, guys. And if you're broke, just, I don't know, clip something you like that I said or something, and then post it somewhere. Put a link on the Schizoid Reddit. put a link on the Facebook or Schizoid or Psych, or if you think some people are talking about the subjects that I was rambling about today, put me in there. Not even have to do with Schizoid shit. Just put me in there if you want. Send me to another mentally ill friend of yours that hasn't heard of me. Hey, listen to this other mentally ill guy on the internet. I use the word mentally ill in like kind of loose fashion. There's so many things that are considered as such that I consider very human and very much needed. Did my toy just break? The fuck? Oh, I thought I broke the thing. I have a little stupid toy thing. This is my fucking anxious hands. Alright. I am going to be watching probably more weird, depressing shit on the server. And, yeah, just dealing with it. What, really quick, I don't know if I ever mentioned this before. But yeah, I want to know. Actually, I might bring this. This might be a good schizoid question for Saturday. The question I'm thinking about posing on Wednesday, and you guys, I think it'd be a pretty good question. Would be, do you notice that your symptoms or your issues or various other elements of kind of either emotional or thoughts, like negative thoughts and stuff, that they're harder to regulate when you have to put more energy into external concerns, right? Like for me, if I have financial troubles or interpersonal troubles, like something up with my kids or something, because it takes extra energy to resource into something external like that, I feel like my internal issues or thoughts and stuff I can keep under like keep a tight ship starts like leaking and things, because like I can only spread so thin, and I guess I'm putting a lot of effort into keeping myself like grounded and mentally okay and stuff. And so yeah, I'm thinking that might be an interesting question. Do external stressors um like regarding like basic stuff cause the things inside you, the negative things inside you that you can normally sort of disconnect or not, it doesn't rise to the surface, just starts all just bubbling up, and you're like freaking out because you're kind of keep it's like you're trying to keep this door closed over here with all the shit, and then somebody else keeps calling, like, just come over here, I need your help on this side, but I can't let go of this door. I can't. If I let go of this door, somebody has to hold it. And so you're like ripped in between those two things. Finiteness of my mental health or wellness. Keep the intergenerational trauma self-fulfilling so troubled teen industry shows continuous GDP growth, business the American way, yeah. Oh, I didn't want to think about the troubled teen industry. But I've thought about that plenty. Anyway, bye. And yeah. Like, subscribe, and give me your money. Peace. Oh, and as usual, when day is dark, always remember, happy day. Even when it's really, really hard to remember, happy day.